Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Ratcliffe Roundup. This week's is a CCF special. So you've got me, who is Ben, and I'm the RSM of the Ratcliffe College CCF, and I'm from the Army section. And we've also got
Cadet Flight Sergeant Angus, and I'm from the RF section.
And together we'll be interviewing Major Dan Amies, who is...
So Major Dan Amies, so I left Ratcliffe probably coming up to about 15 years ago now, and I've been in the Army since I left here.
Nice. So Dan, we're delighted to welcome you to Ratcliffe for this Remembrance Day special. Please could you introduce yourself a bit more?
Yeah, so as I said, since I left school, joined the Army, I was first in the Intelligence Corps, and I then was attached to 14 Signal Regiment, which does electronic warfare, which included a deployment to Afghanistan. And then when I came back, that's then when I went through the officer selection route and then did my training at Sandhurst. But then I joined the Royal Engineers, so I commissioned. So yeah, despite my background in the Intelligence Corps and in a Signals Regiment, I ended up going down the Engineers route, and then very quickly specialised in an area called geospatial intelligence, and then I've done a couple of other bits and bobs since.
What made you choose the Royal Engineers?
For me, it was about the... It sounds a bit silly, but the ingenuity. So things like, and if other cat badgers listen to this, they'll go, no. But for example, signals. So take their job, the Royal Signals, they'll set out the cables for the network for a headquarters, for example.
Yep.
There's kind of one way to do that. There's one way that the headquarters is set up, so you're just kind of following the route of setting it up. Yeah. Whereas for the engineers, it's not really... There's pamphlets of how to do certain manoeuvres and operations, but you really do actually engineer a solution.
Yep.
And so it was that thinking and that ingenuity. Even things like the REME, the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, who I will call Combat Quick Fit, who are just the garage. They'll fix things and repair things. Again, they're engineers, but a different type of engineers. But they won't. It's not ingenuity because they're fixing something. There's that machine works in one way, so they're fixing that. Whereas for the Royal Engineers, as I said, it's down to you and your ingenuity about how you might conduct it.
Yeah.
So do you still go to like the front line, or like just at the back?
It depends. So there's lots of different parts for the Royal Engineers.
Yeah.
So Royal Engineers is combat engineering. So there's three things that you specialise in: mobility, counter-mobility, and survivability. So mobility is things like bridge building, or for clearing minefields, or barbed wire and defences, so increasing our mobility. Then you've got counter-mobility, so that might be doing minefields, blowing up bridges, or blowing up trees, so you have what's called an abatus, so where you put a bit of a plastic explosives on the inside of a tree. You blow out the bottom, it kicks the trees out, and then the trees fall down on the road.
Oh, so blocking the road.
Yeah, so abatus, counter-mobility, and then survivability. So that'll be things like building field forts, water supply, and things like that. So that's your combat engineering side. And so there's different parts where you'd go into that. So if you go into armoured engineering, where you're doing bridge building and things, for example, you're doing that for the armoured battle groups. So for tanks, they need a lot more stronger bridges to get over kind of obstacles that otherwise they just collapse. Or like culverts under roads, they would just collapse them. So it's how you increase the mobility of armoured. So that would be at the front. But then obviously survivability. So if you're building a fort somewhere, you're probably not doing that under fire, or putting in a water supply. But there's other parts of engineering. So in terms of mobility, there's units dedicated to airfields and airfield repair. So if your airfield gets bombed and there's craters in the airfield, then there's a Royal Engineers unit who they do lots more other stuff in terms of historically that they can go out and repair their airfields in terms of mobility. So lots of stuff. But then as I said, on my specialism, so I've gone into the mapping side of things. So maps are still a big part of it, and surveying, and drones technology, all different data and visualization and things. Lots of things.
'Cause I know that in the infantry, as an officer, it's less hands-on, if that makes sense. In the Royal Engineers, do you still do a lot of the like the engineering itself? Is it more commanding people to do the engineering?
Yeah.
Is it more that?
Yeah. You will just break things otherwise.
Oh yes.
I think a good kind of way to kind of describe the sort of relationship is like a building site. So on a building site, you're going to have carpenters, you're going to have bricklayers, electricians, plasterers and decorators, you have scaffolders. So they're the soldiers. They're doing the job. They're the experts in those jobs. But then the officer is kind of like the architect, someone who's done the designs and done the plan. So you would not have the architect go and lay some bricks.
Oh no, it'd be carnage if that happened. Is that the exact same?
And that'd be like me with doing soldering.
Yes, yeah.
It'd be carnage if I went and did it.
Yeah.
But then that's where then there's the whole orchestration of the battle that you need to do.
Yeah.
And so there's loads more to the army. Obviously, the whole army can't just be bayonet wielding trench fighters.
Yeah.
Someone has to do the whole piece of mobilising them and getting them there and knowing what they're doing and explaining. So, and that's kind of from the officer side.
Very nice. I think Angus has got.
So then you were a full-time boarder in Ratcliffe College. So do you got some like great experience as a boarder in CCF when you in that time?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, as a full boarder for 5 years, my memories are absolutely full of being on the halls in boarding and everyone from the year group and lots of the day pupils as well, seeing how much fun we were having in boarding and constantly wanting to come and do occasional boarding with us.
So, if you imagined you were back at Ratcliffe as a student for a day, what's the first thing you'd do?
So funnily enough, actually, just at the weekend, I was dusting all the bookshelves, and the old memoranda, the school. When you leave his notebook where everyone signs, everyone puts all the comments in. And I was reading some of the comments under there, and someone had said in there about my colourful socks in chemistry. I don't know why I did it. I was a bit wild as a kid when I was here, but I would have opposite coloured socks or different coloured socks on in chemistry, and I would,
Yes, yeah.
So, what's something you wish today cadets knew about Ratcliffe in your time?
I don't know really, because lots of stuff that I've learned about Ratcliffe since and being in the association, I think would probably be boring to people who are students from here. So I think it'd be, I guess the thing to learn or to pass back to my old self or new students is just enjoy whilst you're here and in the surroundings of Ratcliffe. I think you can get caught up too much in where you're going next and what's happening next and worrying about that future rather than actually just focusing on your time and enjoying it whilst you're here.
So, if you could go back to one CCF event or camp while you were at Ratcliffe, which one would it be and why?
Yes, I think as much as all the adventure training ones were very good, it's got to have been doing flying in the RAF CCF. I think that was very good. Yes. Even though my dad was in the army, so I wanted to join the RAF section to annoy him rather than going to the army section. But also the idea of flying appealed to me back then. So I don't know what happened since or how I'm here, not a pilot. But I enjoyed doing those. What's on tonight then for you?
Oh, it's Remembrance on next week, so it's practicing for that. So we're parading in Melton Mowbray through the town on Sunday. So a bit of a practice for that. And also the actual in the chapel next Monday doing that as well. Or Tuesday, Tuesday, sorry, yeah. So be a busy night.
Lots of drill.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't learn how to slow march.
Oh yeah, because a lot of the younger ones I don't think have slow marched yet. And the other weird one is, I was speaking to Major Blackford about it. In Melton, if the march slows down, making sure that everyone stays in time, but slows down, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that could be interesting on.
Yeah, that's always a
Sunday.
challenge. I've been on a couple of parades where you're basically marching on the spot. Where you have to take because obviously trying to keep in time, you can't just stop or you can't shorten your step.
Oh yeah.
So your leg still has to go up at the same tempo as if you were marching forward. So you still have to.
But you're just marching
in the same speed.
Keep the speed. Yeah. Because that is the worst drill movement is mark time. Don't know if you've done that one yet.
What's that?
That's horrible. It's actually marking on the spot. So there's marching when it gets really tight, and then you've got to march like slow steps. But then mark time is where you're on the spot, but you
Yeah,
still
on the
got to
spot,
march,
yeah.
but you're bringing your knees up.
When would that be used?
So on movements, or if you need to stop or halt, or for example processional routes.
Oh,
so,
if the procession's stopped.
yeah,
then.
if there's a procession stopped because you want to keep it going, so you might not want to halt, because then everyone would halt, and then you'd do mark time. So you're marking the time because you're keeping that time with the drum, so you're keeping it going.
So you can step off again quickly.
Yeah, or there's certain moves. So like if you're doing columns and wheeling in columns.
Yeah.
So 2 ranks, wheeling in columns. If you're the inside person, you'd be marking time basically because you can't move, because then the people on the outside will have to take like 3-meter steps, which is impossible to get all the way around. So you've got to mark time, and then you step in, and then the next person marks time, and then you're marking time.
I
and the
think
next
I've
person
seen that
steps
be
in.
done on the telly.
So where you go around like that. Yeah, so they'll do it on the Horse Guards parade for the things for turning around. So yeah, it's kind of in niche parts, but then it's very tiring. It's very hard physical work because you just stood on the spot, bringing your knees up horizontal.
Do you do much ceremonial stuff, or?
Not particularly, no.
No.
Not for the Royal Engineers, no. Sometimes do. It depends. There's lots of opportunities.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, who was the biggest CCF legend in your year, and why?
Biggest CCF legend? I think, actually, it's probably an easy one coming from the RAF section. There was a girl called Kate Turner, and she was the head of the RAF section, and I think she'd been in the whole time. I think she's gone in. She's an officer in the Air Force now, and I think she'd been in from year 9, so all the way through to the head, and so she just knew everything that was going. So I think I was a late comer to joining the CCF, but yeah, from year 9, Kate Turner was, she just knew everything.
Yes, yeah. So, what would you say to a student who is considering joining the Ratcliffe College CCF and maybe might be a little uncertain? I don't know why. I think everyone should do it, but just in case they were, what might be involved in the CCF and why should they do it?
Well, yeah, I think firstly because people have the same feelings about joining the army as well, and so I guess I'd say it's designed for people to join who have no experience. So same as CCF, it's designed, and there are the processes in place for you to join when you don't have any experience. So you shouldn't really be daunted about joining, because the whole function is that it teaches you, and that you're not the only person going through those feelings, just the same as we were talking at the beginning about doing this and we were being very nervous. Same as for them being quite nervous. And then you only just look after all the pictures that you get up to and all the camps and how much fun everybody has, to know that it's definitely something to get involved with.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, if you could invite any past Ratcliffian or felon service member to join us for 5 minutes today, who would you want to say to them?
That is a good question. So someone from before to come back. I'll tell you who. It would be one of my best friends from boarding, who I shared a room with quite a lot, James Mason. He'll be, I don't know if he'll watch this, but he was not particularly into CCF, but his dad was in the army, same as mine, and we were actually at the same place together. But he has then since joined the army as well, and it'd be interesting to have him back here and us to have that conversation, because I don't think he was into the CCF when he was here, but now he finds himself in the army, so good to chat to him.
And I think, just as a final question for today, if you could give one piece of advice to every cadet at Ratcliffe listening today about how to make the most of their experience in the CCF, what would it be?
It would definitely be just to say yes to everything that comes up. Just say yes. As much as the experience you could get after it. And however much you might feel nervous or anxious about it, then you've got to fight that and go and do that. Beat that anxiety and fear and go and get it, because it'll only make you better from all those experiences, really.
Thank you. I think that's a really nice way to wrap up this week's episode of the Ratcliffe Roundup. So thank you for listening and watching, if you're watching on any of our socials. And I'd like to say just like, subscribe, and please continue to watch the weekly episode of the Ratcliffe Roundup. Thank you.